Good evening. Welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. I want to thank you for tuning in. Tonight I'm going to be talking to a very good friend of mine. His name is Rainey, Noodle, as we like to call him. Noodle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back, Jackie.
No, I was very much looking forward to this interview.
Good,
good. We have a lot to cover, but for those that may have not seen the past interview or not that familiar with you, I'd like to just go over kind of, how you spent your early days.
Okay.
I know that you've had an interesting background in that sense.
Oh, yeah. My father was in the Air Force, so he was in Germany when I was young, and we came back to New York at a young age, and, he's originally from California, so he wanted to do the West Coast. So we lived in Las Vegas for about 12 years. And then I came back to Peekskill, New York to graduate high school, and I've been in New York ever since.
Oh, yes, so how's living out in Las Vegas?
Wonderful. Ain't too much you can say about Vegas, but it was a lot of fun. I was always, my nickname out in Vegas actually was New York. All of the middle school kids and high school kids used to call me New York because of my accent I had when I was out there. But other than the heat in the summertime, I loved it.
Really?
I loved it. Yeah, I visit all the time, too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So when you came into Peekskill, you started your music career.
Yes.
So tell us, something about that.
That's been fun. I started writing my first song I ever written. I was about 13. My Uncle Troy, they used to call him Tricky T. He helped me write the rhyme, and ever since then I've been into it. When I came back to New York from Vegas, me and one of my closest friends from New York and a friend of mine from Vegas created a group, and that's when we kind of started to take it a little bit more seriously.
Okay, so this is traditional rap.
Yeah, somewhat inspirational traditional rap. Yeah.
Right, because there is different types of rap.
Yes, I like to call it hip hop. That's what we call it. But yeah. And
I guess you're writing your own material as well, so there's a bit of poetry involved in it.
A lot of poetry involved in it. It just they used to say rap was rhythm and poetry. You just have an idea, and sometimes a beat brings a different idea out of an artist. There's a lot that we want to talk about, and when you hear a certain beat, it brings a certain feeling out of you. Sometimes people hear certain beats, they can only go to certain types of clubs or ballrooms because of the music that's playing. It's the same thing with writers. There's certain kind of beats that inspire us to write. So there's certain beats that I look for when I'm writing now. So it's a very fun hobby.
So what's the process here? You're writing and then you're looking for the music, or you're using a plug of some kind or sampling some music?
It actually, now it goes both ways. When I was younger, I used to just, I would listen to, a song and kind of just hear the song. And, if the song was something that I could relate to, I would just write my own song without any music, just write stuff that rhymes, and it was actually poetry. As I got a little bit more into working with producers, I would hear certain beats, and I'd say, I like that. Like, what are you thinking of? Like, when I hear that beat, I think of, like, celebrating life or sunshine, like something about sunshine. So I write something about that in that story. And there's also times where, you have an idea, but you want certain sounds in it. Like, I love guitars. So a lot of the, beats that I choose now have guitar synthesizers or, certain, like, frequencies that make me feel a certain way. So I always look for those, or even ask a producer that has the equipment, can you make something like this? I want this sound to go tss, 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 saying that, and we kind of just like create it from the blueprint of just making a good song, and that's how it comes out the best.
Oh, yeah, so now you've had one album, Live and Learn?
Yes, Live and Learn. Before that was It's a New Day. That kind of like opened doors for me everywhere, just.
How so?
When I put that CD out, I made a video first called Peekskill, My City. And that just, like, the city just, like, I got so much love from the city. But also traveling in the tri-state area, people would ask, where are you from? And I can just say, I'm from Peekskill. And they're like, some people are like, oh, that's up there by Canada, right? Like, no, come on. Right outside of West. We're in Westchester, please. But, people will look at that video and get a different respect for Peekskill as far as the hip-hop, music industry goes. And
you put us on the map.
Yeah, something like that. Toot my own horn, but it definitely opened some doors. And also putting that album out, I was able to promote and perform the songs in different venues, and just stepping out and performing in different venues, you meet so many connections.
Right.
So that's been, it's been helpful. And some of the people that I perform with, I also DJ for. Young artists that are coming up, they they respect Noodle as an MC, and they'll ask me, can you please, come to my show, or whatever. If I'm performing, if I can get some of them to open up at a showcase in Brooklyn or Connecticut, I reach out to them, and they get their own connections as well, and see where they can take it.
No, that's how it works. So now you have something called the Artist
Appreciation.
Right, the Artist Appreciation, but it's in association with the Artist Collective?
Yes, I work with poet Ibrahim Sadiq.
Yes.
We do a lot together. The Artist Collective is, it's a lot of artists that really come together to try to actually make positive change for the world. They're, a lot of activists, a lot of, radicals. They really, the majority of their material is on bettering the mind, the health and stuff like that. So, Artist Appreciation Show is kind of more of an avenue just for artists that I think really deserve a shot to be recognized. So, I've been to so many open mics and talent shows, and I don't take away from anybody's talent. If you put your heart into what you're doing, then go for it. But I do think that there are some artists at these venues that stand out,
Right.
And if I had the financial backing to put these artists in, countrywide tours, I would. So the least I could do for them is give them an avenue to perform at somewhere they've never been. So we do the show in Bronx, and we do it right here in Peekskill at the Bean Runner Cafe.
Terrific. Where in the Bronx do you do it?
At this place called El Fagoon. It's right off of Westchester Avenue, I think is the exit off the highway. We do it there. And me and my partner LaRue, we put variety showcases together, but we go everywhere with those.
Cool.
We've done like the bar room in the bowling alley. Like we where we can get people to actually come, because sometimes it's not necessarily the exact venue, it's the amount of people that come that have never seen these artists.
Right, and it's not even about the venue, because if the artists are good,
Yeah,
and people like what's going on. I've
keep it.
gone to see you at the Bean Runner, and I've gone to one of those. And it's always great to see, just some new artists, or just to hear something different.
Yeah.
I love hearing spoken word.
Yes.
So that's always been a great show here in town.
Good, thank you.
And as far as, I guess, this is going to lead me into asking you some questions, because you do a great service for artists with that show, but you're also a tremendous community activist here in Peekskill. So why don't you talk to me a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, I've always had a strong heart for the kids. My very first job position was at this program called the Yes Program. I used to work with Miss Tuesday McDonald, and that program was based on, Monday through Friday, for just the summertime months. We would, give the kids free lunches.
Okay.
And we serviced most of the time we serviced the kids at Dunbar Heights. So we would bring, we'd go over there during the day, probably about 2 or 3 hours, just spend there during the day, give the kids something to eat, and we'll do like, activities with them, educational activities, math and stuff like that. And we'd also, the Fridays, we would try to take the kids on different trips.
Okay, so you'd
like
get a bus or
park.
something,
Yeah,
or,
we'd get a
or
bus
just walk them somewhere?
Yeah, we'd walk across the street to the park right over there, off of, Division Street, I believe it is. We would also do, the movies or the pool, stuff like that. And from then on, I kind of think I just stuck with that type of idea of what I wanted to do.
How long ago was that?
I was 14, so.
Okay, was that subsidized by the city?
I believe so. I believe so, yes. And also, my grandmother worked at this place called the Peekskill Community Action Program. And they, they offered, and they still do to this day, they donate, a large amount of turkeys during Thanksgiving. They get donations of toys for Christmas during, Christmas season from different places like Toys R Us, stuff like that. So just being around that growing up, I kind of got influenced to do that. And ever since, we've done, I've been a part of everything that I've seen in different parts of the world, like book bag drives, shoe drives, toy drives, everything you could think of. I just seen it happening in every other city. And I know that Peekskill has done it, but we haven't been like strong on it, I don't think, especially for the kids.
So we could definitely do a little better.
Yeah, we've always had reasons. We don't have the budget to do stuff like this or stuff like that. So it's a lot of the things I've been able to do didn't really take a budget from the city or the federal, or Fed or even
you were just calling upon
people in the community that want to help,
right.
And we've had programs at the youth center. We little things like dodgeball, for example. Like the kids are so drawn to basketball, because that's what the city's reputation is as far as sports, like basketball is Peekskill. If you're from Peekskill, you probably know how to play basketball. That's just what they say. So, which is true. We got some bowlers out there. I ain't gonna lie. But, there's a lot of things that we can offer these kids. It's not going to take everybody to empty their pockets. If we can, get people to come together to do things. But fish fries, toy drives, the kickball event that we do every year. Now, last year we had about 9-10 teams, and each team has, 8 people on the team. When you have 80 people out there playing kickball, just imagine how much of their family and friends are coming out to watch. So, the park is packed. And it's not necessarily, a religious thing. Like, we're just not inviting these churches, or we're just not inviting the people who go to Peekskill High School. It's like anybody that wants to play kickball can come. And I think that those type of events keep the community intact with each other. Like, everybody's like together, We see stuff like that, like during Independence Day. The 4th of July fireworks celebration. Like, everybody comes out. We don't have enough events like that, I don't think.
Right. So from what I'm getting from the activities that you have, you're very interested in maybe having a place for kids to come to do some activities that are, educational, or, basically keep them off the streets.
Yeah, definitely.
And doing something positive.
Right. And I'm actually hoping, soon enough that we'll get the Kylie Youth Center is that place for Peekskill right now. That's like other cities have like YMCAs and all these other, like the Kylie Youth Center is that place, but the reputation of the Kylie Center, has been taken away from it because of, the way it's being handled right now. So it's like we want to get people to come back to the Kylie Youth Center and realize this is a place for everybody to come have fun. We do homework after school for the kids.
Yeah, break down some activities and programs they have there.
After school, we have from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. All of the kids. We don't open the gym, even though we get there at 2:33. We don't open the gym till 4, and you can't go down there until you have your homework done. And the majority of the kids will come there and they'll ask us for help, and we'll work with them. And some kids will, I don't have any homework, and
they're lying.
Yeah, I know your teacher. Oh, you do? Well, she did give me this. I thought so. But we do the homework from 3 to 4. On Tuesdays and Thursdays is basketball workout. They train the kids on
like a clinic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's they train the kids on the basics of basketball. Wednesday now we do dodgeball. But we're trying to switch the sports up every few seasons. On Wednesdays we do dodgeball, volleyball. The hockey thing. I forgot what kind of hockey it is. No rollerblades, but some type of hockey thing. We also have the game room and the computer room. We got updated computers. They're fairly new. Elton Brand actually donated those to us like a year ago.
Okay, is that a company or?
No, Elton Brand, the basketball player
from
Peekskill. He donated those to us last year. So the kids can do surf internet, do searching. We've done spelling bees with the kids. We've done dance programs with the kids. When Wes first was working out here, he used to do the Be First boxing out of the Kylie Youth Center.
Oh, right. The Be First boxing.
Yeah.
Right.
Belle also did dancing out of the Kylie Youth Center. Now we have a new program called the 10566 Arts Program. And we got that. That was funded by a grant. And I teach the spoken word poetry aspect.
You had a presence at the
Paramount this year.
Right, exactly. That was a part of the
Arts Week.
Open Studios.
Yeah, there you go. Open Studios weekend. Yeah,
Open Studios.
This was our first year with that program, and we do it at the Kylie Center on Mondays, and we did it at Hillcrest on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And we're expanding next year to, I believe, Oakside.
Okay, so these are free for all the kids.
Free for all of the kids. I mean, we provide at that arts program particularly. I do spoken word poetry. Belle does dance, and the lady Ada, she does visual arts. So the kids get to cut out. They have this big black thing on the window on the wall, and they kind of trace themselves, outline themselves doing something. It looks like silhouette. It's really nice. But they that's free, and they provide the kids with snacks. Fidelis, the insurance, they provide the kids with snacks every day. They
cool.
get snacks like the Nutri-Grain bar type snacks with little apple juices or Capri Suns, and bananas.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So now you're going to be able to continue that program?
Yes, I am, and I'm happy to say yes, I am. Because, man,
wow, it was a close call.
We get a little further down. I'll tell you, but
well, just getting the funding or doing the grant.
Yeah, that was through a grant, and it didn't take. It took us about a year and a half, 2 years to actually get that, solidified, but we got it.
Awesome. That is awesome.
And we're, like I said, we're even expanding next year, and we've been able to bring the kids to to Garrison Arts Theater to watch actual plays. You know, they get to go up there and see the Shakespeare plays. You know, and there's all we need is a parent saying they can go. You know, there's no fee, there's no
the
charge.
Bosco.
There you go.
Yeah.
No fees, no charge. Just if your child can go, we have a bus. We can take up to 40 kids for free. You know, it gives the kids a lot more to look forward to, and arts gives the kids expressions that you wouldn't believe.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when would a kid, get an opportunity maybe to do something like that if their
Right.
parents don't have the means or even know that the program is going on?
Exactly.
So you're providing a great service with that.
Yeah.
So now that's your main gig, I want to say, that you are working with the Kylie Center. Okay, now something exciting has happened to you recently.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
You have been nominated for the Common Council
Yes.
of Peekskill, and you are proudly running. So why don't you tell me how that whole thing went down?
Easy. I was asked to do this about 4 years ago, and because I was more focused into my music, I didn't really understand anything about politics. That was never like a thought in my head. I can honestly say I never thought that I'd wake up one day and say I want to do some type of political work. You know, I never thought about that. I just figured, you know, whatever I'm doing for the community, I continue to do that without that. So, but you know, I was asked a few years back, and you know, I thought about it for like a couple years, and then like 2 years ago, you know, it came to my attention again. So I asked some questions, and I got some answers, and the answers that I like were really good. And one of the things,
what were some of the questions?
well, I asked, you know, if I was to be involved in this, like, would I be able to do this? You know, one of the things was to, you know, help keep the Kylie Center, for example, running, because there's some issues in the Kylie Center that I think need to be, you know, resolved.
Okay.
And, you know, they said not only can you do this with the Kylie Center, but you can create stuff that happens in the Kylie Center, and you'll be able to work with the school board to make sure the kids over here are invited or introduced to these, and then you can work with the housing authority, and then you can work with they gave me like a list. We got like 100 organizations in Peekskill, and it's like if we just put these organizations together maybe once a month, you know, we can have some real actual progress in our city for the kids. So when they showed me that, then they showed me like some of the, you know, the budget information that they were allowed to show me. At least they told me some ideas that I can do and I can have with that. And they were like, the level that I was thinking on was like down here. They said, when you get over here with the council, you got to think up here.
Yeah. So
it was like, oh wow. So I was like, all right, I'm interested. So they started showing me some things in the background. You know.
who was it that approfapproached you? Like a mafia movie. Who was it that approached you?
Yeah, I can't say the name. I'm gonna get in trouble. My friends on the Democrat side, you know, Mary Beth McGowan was definitely one of the people that mentioned it to me. People used to always joke with me, and they still do joke with me. It's a joke, but they still do joke, and they say, you know, Noodle, you gonna go for mayor one day. I was like, yeah, I just like to rap.
You might just win, too.
It's a possibility. Now I'm starting to see now. It's a possibility.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, very much so. So, you know, she brought it to my attention the most recent time, and just being able to see what I can do. And they've always been supportive of the things that I've done here in the city. You know, not saying anybody else wasn't, but, you know, just, you know, the elected officials have always been supportive of what I've done in the city. So, you know, we've done Christmas parties for the seniors. You know, I DJ those. So it's just, I've already been pretty much doing what some of them say I can do. I just had to look at it on a bigger scale. So when she brought it to my attention, you know, I was just meeting more and more people in the city that, you know, do a lot more for the city than I do. And it was good to see, you know, people, some of the business owners and the, you know, the people that own homes here, like they have a lot of input in what happens in the city. And it's like, you know, without me asking or without her approaching me, I wouldn't know that, you know. And I think that a lot of people in my age group and generation, I don't think that we all really understand or know.
Right. Well, I think, you know, it's one of the things that I found very interesting is that we just need to be, I mean, I can't really say that I'm young, but just...
You look young if you're not. I'll tell you that.
But just younger people need to be more involved in the process.
Yeah.
From the city council to on the state level, and then creeping on up to the federal level. Because that's the only way we're going to see changes in the way we operate as a country.
Right.
And what you were saying, just knowing more about the funds that are available and getting together things, you know, they kind of opened up a door for you and said, like, you know, this is what's possible when you're working with us. You know, because you're one man on the street. So now it's like when you have the rest of these guys with you, right?
Yep. That's the ultimate goal. And also, like, I've been able to speak, you know, I didn't really have that many political conversations with, you know, my colleagues until I, made it clear that this is what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And just sitting down, speaking with many of them, they're not, a lot of them have a lot of information, that they know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, it somewhat bothered me to a point that I had to make sure that people understood that I was bothered. So at these little fundraisers I do and, meetings I go to, I say that, a lot of people won't get involved in politics, not just because they don't know, but because of the reputation that they've heard.
Right, you just don't understand the process, or you think it's like, I can't be a part of that.
Yeah, and it's,
or don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's part of the reason too. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
When Obama was running for presidency, they felt some type of connection with that, and they felt like, what, this man is actually going to try to do something for us. So, we had a lot of people in our local local town vote in the presidential election.
Whereas they wouldn't have done that before.
I could say less than 40 people voted in the last local election under age 30. Under age 25. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of not only teaching them, but getting them inspired to be involved, rather than just saying, this is important, go get in there. Because then you hear from the other people, or even older people, that oh man, politics is this, it's cutthroat, it's it's backstabbing, it's lying, and they manipulate and they do this. So you're
just breakfast.
There you go. There
Mm-hmm.
you go. And the same person that'll tell you all of that will say 2 minutes later, but you need to go out there and vote. It's like,
right.
Little confused me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot that we need to, inform the people about, especially my generation. And like I said, I don't think that they're not paying attention. I just think that they weren't necessarily inspired to get involved.
I can totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say, I guess the traditional question to a candidate would be, what is your platform? What are the things that you are running on?
Yeah, one of the main platforms I said, because it was the only thing that I really, can say from my heart, mattered to me to do something for, and that was the children. I felt that we needed to organize more programs for the kids that actually work, and we need to get, obviously, people in there that want to work, because we have a lot of programs now, but people don't care for the kids. Like, if you don't love the kids, you can't teach these kids. If you don't love these kids, you won't help these kids. People do whatever they can for their children because they love them. But when it comes to other children, they're just there. And we've had plenty of programs in our city where we have directors that enjoyed the job for the paycheck, but didn't really care too much for the kids. And I think when we decide to bring more programs and more discipline programs, more, self-empowerment, mental building programs, we need to also have people that really want to be there.
To implement the program.
Exactly. Like, they have to really care about the kids. So, I suggested, that we do stuff like that for the city. We have culture events, a culture day, where we can have all of the local businesses, Italian, Jamaican, Indian, whatever, just have like an event at the river where everybody can come out and actually see the culture that we have in the city here. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad idea. Everybody can come out from every race and we can all be together. We can acknowledge each other. Yeah, sell food, play games. The hip-hop artists can perform, the saxophone players. Like, it doesn't matter what race you are. It's just let's all get together collectively and show the next generation this is how communities are supposed to be.
Right,
and they'll
this is how
see
you
that.
do it.
That was my main thing. But now, just after seeing everything, like, it's a lot. It's, one thing I noticed, like I said before, we have a lot of organizations in here in the city of Peekskill. Even in the city hall itself, we have people that don't have relationships with each other to work together. So I feel like we need to focus on that. With City Hall being one of the, almost the core of our city's progress, we need to be sure that at least the people that we depend on in there can somewhat work together. A lot of people.
Is this basically, partisan relations?
Yes,
okay.
yes, we need that. People are, they're voting for the slates and they're voting for this and that, and one thing that kills me is they're on social media or even in public just bashing each other, and it's just, just tearing each other's egos and characters down. And regardless, in about 3 months, you got to work with these people for 2 years.
Exactly.
So why can't, I
deal
always
with each other respectfully.
Yeah,
at the onset.
Yeah, there you go. There's been debates and stuff like that. Though, it would be good, and this is thinking probably hundreds of years in the future, but it would be good for people who want to run office on this side and people who want to run office on this side actually come together and just weigh out the pros and cons and who's fit. You know what? I want to do this when I get in there. I want to do that. Well, okay, you know, I like what you're doing. So if you're going to do that, then we can probably support that.
To quote Monica from Friends, I think apes will be running the planet and they'll be hovercrafts.
Man, I mean, it's good to think that way. But
I wanted to, because we're winding down a little bit.
Okay.
What are some of the next events that you have where people can contact you? How can people get involved, volunteer for you? Give us some information.
Yes, we have a lot of events. All the political operatives out there can give you any information you want. But we do. We have the Fish Fry coming up August 21st. It's going to be at the Kylie Youth Center, and we use the money from selling sandwiches as a donation. We use the money from getting the sandwiches out as what we do to get the kids book bags and school supplies.
Okay.
Last year was our 5th year. This year is our 6th year, and last year was our biggest year. And we made enough to get 187 book bags filled.
Cool.
Last year with supplies. Also helped with a lot of sponsors from the local area. That's August 21st. August 25th, I believe, is that Wednesday is the day that we give the bags out. We have, McDonald's donates cheeseburgers to the kids. Dunkin' Donuts has donated the little mini donut
holes.
Yeah, whatever those things. We've had performers come. We have a lot of performers coming this year. I believe we have like 4 or 5. That's August 25th. September 5th, Labor Day weekend, will be at the Pew Park from 2 to 6 p.m. And anybody that wants to play kickball, all you need is 8 players. You come out. There's going to be free hamburgers and hot dogs, plenty of water donated to us by BJ's, and refreshments. And we're going to have kickball tournament. Every team will get to play 2 games. After that, start the elimination process. So all you need is 8 players, and you come out and play.
And do you have anything you're doing as far as the election that people should know about?
I have a couple of fundraisers coming up. I believe my next one is August. I think it's the last Saturday in August 29th. The actual location is to be announced. So if they have, Facebook, just facebook.com/noodle, and you'll find all that information. But that's the next fundraiser. We have a few registration drives coming up where we're going to get people who aren't registered to register to vote if they aren't, and just give them more information. Not just going out there saying come out here and vote because I'm running, but see what your vote may do, and also voice your opinions too. If there's something that you need to know, the people that we work with that are registering, they're also giving them information,
right,
on the history of Democrats and Republicans, and also what different votes do, and if you believe in this person, not just necessarily saying Andre Rainey. If you want to know what this person's going to do, like we print out like bios of everybody.
That's running on the council.
Yeah, because we don't want to like make it seem like I'm manipulating or nothing like that. It's just come out and register yourself.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me back.
No, absolutely. It's been great. I'm really excited about the campaign.
Yes,
and anything I can do to help you, by all means, let me know.
Okay.
Definitely, you have your email and stuff on there as well, and your Facebook information.
Yes.
So thank you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. And
so I just want to say a quick word about one of our team members here. His name was Steve Hedges, and he passed away recently. And he worked camera, and I've known him for years, and he's been working with Cablevision for I don't know how many years, about 20 years or more. He was a very gracious, wonderful man, always had something really funny to say and very encouraging, and he will be missed.
God bless.
In addition to that, we're looking forward to having a great fall and bringing you some great artists and information. Please reach out to us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, check out our YouTube channel, previous shows. I think this is our 83rd or 84th show.
Wow.
So stay tuned for some more great stuff. As always, thank you and peace.